Hi everyone, it's me again, and today I want to talk about House of the Dragon. Whew! I just finished watching the season finale, and my heart is beating so fast. It's kind of crazy. So obviously, spoiler alert for the entire season. I don't want to delve too much into details, but I do want to give my thoughts on the whole thing. So be warned, and also go watch it, because my conclusion is it's amazing and you should watch it. My more detailed review is that while it's not a perfect season, there are a lot of things I have a bit of gripe with. It was beautiful. So let me go into the parts I had quote unquote issues with first, so that we can finish on a high note. The things I had issues with was the time jumps. There were too many of them, I feel, and I really think it would have made more sense to have one season with the younger cast and then start the second season with the older cast. The younger cast did such an amazing job, and I think it would have done them more justice. We would have been able to enjoy our time with them more and just have a bit more depth to it, because the season felt both rushed and that it took its time. It's very weird. At no point did I feel like it was lagging or dragging or boring, but you have an entire episode on one side, an entire episode on the other side, which is great. But then the episode or two episodes before that, we know of a 6-year time jump, and the episode before that, a 10-year time jump. So it's too many time jumps, really. Some plot points that in the beginning seemed very ominous and scary, like the Crab King. That was his name, right? I feel like I named a Pokemon. He was gonna be the bad guy of the season, and then it's like he disappeared on episode 3? Was very, very jarring. So we could have spent more time in that era, and that way would have had fewer time jumps in one season, and again started season 2 with the new cast, which is stellar as well. I wish we had more time with the younger cast, which would have given us more time with King Viserys, which I think would have benefited everyone, because Paddy Considine did such an amazing job as King Viserys, and it was so nice to see a not crazy Targaryen on the throne for once. And while he seemed, from our Game of Thrones trained eyes, weak, he seemed very unwilling to go to war, which is a thread that seems to be pulling throughout the season. Not just him, but who has a trigger finger and who doesn't. As a self-proclaimed pacifist, if you will, it's so frustrating to see people who genuinely try to have resolution without war, and then having them being pushed to war regardless. Another gripe was, of course, there was that one episode where we couldn't see any of it, which was a shame, because I think it looked like it looked beautiful, you know what I mean? So those were the two main issues. Some of the wigs were a bit... the wig budget in Hollywood has gone to the dogs. I don't know. It's weird. And then I would have loved to see more of not necessarily of the dragons themselves, because I know they're expensive and they looked beautiful whenever they were on screen. But I wish I would have had more knowledge about the dragon culture, if you will. Kind of all of the bits and pieces I understood, I think I actually got from outside of the show. I kind of wish we would have seen more, right? We have the whole issue with Laenor faking his own death, but him running away. So did he give up his dragon? Does the dragon know he's been giving up? Does he just fly away? We've kind of heard in the last episode that there are unclaimed dragons. Do they pick a side? So many questions about the dragons, which we could have known more about if the whole story would have been split into 2 seasons. So it all falls down to those time jumps. But yeah, those are my biggest gripes. I didn't have an issue with how graphic the birthing scene in episode 1 was. I thought it was correct in the way it was done. It was violent and visceral and painful and horrible. and that's the way it should have been, especially with how female-centric the show seems to be. It was also interesting to see that they chose to kind of bookend the season with painful, horrible births and dead babies. It was also interesting to see like the return of unhinged Damon, because sure, like he beheaded a guy 2 episodes ago and he never was not unhinged, but it was always aimed toward people he had issues with, and him turning a bit on Rhaenyra because he is ready to fight and battle and kill for the throne for her, and seeing her take her father's advice and teachings, you can see that it actually pains him. She's not more on the crazy end of the Targaryen and she's more on the retained side. So it's kind of sad. He's not turning against her, but he's fighting against the way she wants to go about things. And he does it in the Daemon way, which is violent. He can be violent for her, just don't be violent on her. So yeah, overall, like the rest of the world was burnt by season 8 of Game of Thrones. So when, the first trailers were released, it was just this real cautious optimism. But having seen the whole thing, this season was amazing. Great TV. And I really hope they keep it up. I found the final frame of the show amazing because she didn't have to say it, but she said it. She said burn them all, right? Like there is no way that her precious baby boy getting eaten by a dragon will not cause her to go full-blown Targaryen on them. And I don't know when season 2 will come out, next year, in 2 years. If it doesn't start with fires everywhere, I will be very shocked. Speaking of Rhaenyra's children, in general it was interesting to see like the children in the show, because you have Alicent's children and they're all kind of unhinged, right? Well, I don't remember Pirate Boy's name, which I should, because he's discount Daemon, right? But Helena also like was Cassandra too on the nose for people. She keeps giving prophecies that nobody pays attention to, right? But you have these completely unhinged kids. Alicent that goes and king shames Rhaenyra for, having a thing for her uncle and being like, oh, you Targaryens with your queer customs. And then she marries her children off to each other. So like, who has queer customs here, lady? Okay. But they're all completely deranged. Like, the only thing redeemable part of Aegon is that he doesn't want the crown. Pirate Boy, who, as we said, discount Daemon, he's completely insane. And he's causing a war, so that's fun. All because what? Like, suddenly you remember you want payment for your eye? You're the one that said, I lost an eye, I gained a dragon. It's a fair trade. No, it's not fair anymore. We're tipping the balance the other way. And you're not knowing what happens when dragons fight and you choose to pick a fight. Then we have Rhaenyra's kids, who 2 of them disappeared. The 2 blonde Daemon Rhaenyra kids, we didn't see them at all this episode, so that's weird. But the brown-haired boys, it's so funny to see like how sane they are. They're good boys. They love their mother, they love each other, they seem genuinely happy to marry their sister cousin. Your family tree is a circle, so I don't know. The gorgeous Velaryon Targaryen girls. And they seem very happy to be betrothed to them, so that's cute in a very Game of Thrones kind of way. So it's interesting to see how, we are positioned to choose a side. It makes me very worried when I think of Game of Thrones. Very early on, we were trained to pick Stark. Those were our main people. Those were the good guys. And here we have the blacks versus the greens. And it's very clear that we're steered towards liking the blacks. So I'm very concerned. Whenever Game of Thrones tells you to like somebody, they kill them in a horrible, brutal way. So I guess we started by killing an innocent boy and have him and his dragon eaten by a bigger dragon. That was really painful to watch, even though like it was very obvious as soon as we saw Pirate Boy that this was not going to end well. I'm not sure I knew how it was gonna end, as in like the method, but it was pretty obvious our baby boy was not getting out of there alive. And yet I was on the edge of my seat. So after all of this rambling, all I can say, really, is it was an amazing season. I really enjoyed watching this season. I really hope next season will be just as good. The cast is so spectacular. The acting is phenomenal. The set design, everything is Game of Thrones level, right? It's just... So, yeah, what did you think? Did you enjoy the season? Are you looking forward to season 2? Tell me everything in the comments. Please don't spoil the book though. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do the things, and I'll see you next time. Bye!